are taking the Shikishima, so that's a tier 10. Is it steel or rank battle? Rank points. I think it's steel, isn't it?
It's steel, yeah. It's
Okay.
got crazy good, accurate guns, and it's probably my favorite battleship for tier 10 besides the Kremlin.
Interesting. Yeah, they're 510 millimeters. They will absolutely hurt. They're dual turrets instead of triple, like the original Yamato. Uh, what is this? What you took auxiliary mod in slot 1? Let's talk about. First of all, the thing about the Shikishima is, for one, they actually nerfed her sound effect because it used to be like this rumble across the entire battlefield because her guns are so big. They nerfed that. Um, Her gun reload is pretty quick considering how big her shells are. And so a lot of battleships especially think that they're safe to turn out and then they get punished accordingly. This is a Yamato hull though, so she can absolutely be cheeked and all that good stuff. All right, Nifty. Your build. Auxiliary mod
Yep.
1. Why?
I never have my guns knocked out in this thing.
Okay.
It just doesn't happen, and this is a ship I use for randoms a lot, so I do have to be considering, like CVs, planes, getting my secondaries, and AA mounts knocked out, so that's really more there for randoms, not clan battles, but I didn't want to change it.
Okay. I would like to offer up a suggestion, and
Yeah,
that is, I mean, it's credits. It's not that much credits to switch to something else for clan battle purposes. And I mean, main armaments, I agree. Probably you're okay if you've never found your turret suffering, then you might as well keep that. In clan battles, I really feel like spotting aircraft mod 1 would really help you a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've run it on other things. I haven't ran it on my Shikishima yet, but I mean, I know how strong that can be, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably what I would do. Oh, hey, Blue Falcon, thanks for lurking away again. And have a good night, sir. So spotting aircraft is where I would probably invest in terms of your upgrades. Let's look. Damage control, aiming systems, propulsion, concealment, main battery. Why propulsion?
So propulsion I pretty much take that in anything I know I'm going to be playing at a range for battleship because it allows me to try to maneuver around a lot easier, and a lot of times I start a fight by backing up towards the enemy.
Okay.
So for ships, I specifically do that in a lot. I find propulsion just really helps me move around the map a lot easier, reposition, play islands better, and things like that.
Fair. Okay. Alternately, you could take damage control system modification too if you get farmed a lot and that sort of deal. Otherwise, fine. Makes sense. You've got spotting aircraft instead of fighters. Also makes sense. Is this a special captain, Nifty?
Yep, this is Captain Yamato.
Yamamoto.
Yep.
Okay. Now, in this particular, in clan battles, his talents are off, so the only thing that he boosts is your grease the gears. It's still a nice boost, though, so I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not too bad.
So you got emergency repair specialist, grease the gears, basics of survivability, concealment, fire prevention, emergency repairs, adrenaline rush. I mean, that's a fine build. I can't think of anything else that you might want to take as a Japanese battleship. I mean, you could make the argument for priority target instead of grease the gears.
Yeah, as a player, I have moved away from priority target. I used to run it on every ship I had in my roster, but I've been playing so many years now where I just don't. I keep my eyes vigilant on the horizon. I check to see who's aiming at me and stuff like that, and I just don't get a lot of use out of it as much as I used to.
Okay. And then for flags, you got anti-det, anti-flood, heal boosting, speed, consumables, anti-air, LOL. I think that's it. This you don't need in clan battles. There's no carriers.
I didn't even realize I had AA on that match, actually.
It's all right. Doesn't matter. You warded off the carriers anyways, and they didn't show up, so clearly it worked.
Something like that.
Ramming flag. Dude, you're in a battleship, always ramming flag. My opinion, ramming. Very important.
I must have not checked my flags because I thought I had ramming flag and I would have taken off the AA for it for sure.
Yep. And then the other one, I would have done the fire extinguishing time one, just to help you stay alive longer.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, those are the other. That's it for the other two. Okay. So
go
ahead.
I was gonna say that. So this was an interesting battle because it was against another Wookiee clan.
Okay.
I'll be real with you. I was not playing good this night at all. So
Okay.
I'm not sending this replay because I thought I did very well, but it was such a close game that we like everybody in Wookiee 12 was like, oh, we gotta like watch an analysis of that because that was so close. So
Okay. And this is you against WKY04. This is on the NA team. So you said this is Wookiee on Wookiee violence.
it is, yeah.
Okay.
A few of the members on that team actually used to be in Wookiee 12, my clan, as well.
So what is the difference between Wookiee 12, Wookiee 9, Wookiee main?
So the big differences are really just we have pretty much 3 tiers of clans. I think green, blue, and red. Basically, there's one clan that does clan battles like more hardcore and tries to do it very frequently, like every night if possible. Then there's kind of the in-between where they do clan battles, but it's not really a mandatory thing, and it's more practice and training and stuff like that, which is what I'm in. And then there's the red clans that are just purely casual. Maybe they only do co-op or randoms, but they don't tend to dip into clan battles much. But they're all in the same community.
Right, but is Wookiee main like your more try-hard clan, and then...
It used to be. It used to be, but not anymore. Not for about, like, 2 years now.
Okay, there's Sea Donkey on the enemy team. Interesting. Okay. All right, well, let's take a look at the lineup. So you've got Shikishima, Annapolis, Des Moines, Puerto Rico, Petropavlovsk, Chimakaze Gearing on Warrior's Path. And you're up against Montana, Des Moines, Moscow, Petropavlovsk, Yamagiri, Kleber. Hello, Severin One. Yamagiri feels odd in clan battles. SAT, what do you think?
You don't take Yamagiri because Shimakaze is effectively does the same role.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like a larger health pool, pretty much, right? And maybe a little bit better guns, I think, on the Yamagiri.
Mostly for burst firing the enemy destroyer.
Yeah. So I know that Mongo on their team is like always in a destroyer, and he specializes in torpedo destroyers. So I take it they wanted to give that to him just because I guess they needed to fill the super role, and they already know he's very comfortable in destroyers.
Okay.
But I expect more people to have a super battleship. That would be the other role I would take it.
Instead of the Montana, you mean?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Satsumas, Annapolis, and whatever the German one is. I can't think of the name at the moment. Hanover, there you go. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of those as well.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot more use out of a super battleship than a super destroyer.
I think in general, yeah, I would say so. I mean, especially with the health pool difference.
Gearing? GG.
Yeah, what happened to him? Looks like did he take a torp or?
I think he took a torp there. Yeah, he took one early torp, tried to duck behind the island and got pressured real quick there. And now he's pretty much getting like shot from every which way.
Well, Sea Donkey's got a shot on him, and he's radaring too.
This is kind of the first misplay here. Not the torps, but just where the gearing's position and the use you're getting out of him.
Hey, Sea Donkey. You're in this game, by the
Yeah.
way.
I personally, Jarrett was calling this match. I don't think
Okay.
rushing a gearing in for that cap specifically is really where it's at. I would have played wider personally. But usually you don't see things rushing that island unless it's either really fast or it has a hydro to back it up or something like that.
And the
Sovereign,
second
you're in
part
the Moscow
is
over here, I'm guessing? Go ahead. What's up?
also, did your Annapolis ever get a smoke?
Nope.
I don't think he did. No.
Nope. That gearing
Yeah.
died with every smoke available.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I see a lot of teams doing this, but they will take an Annapolis and a gearing. They go really well together. Gearing gives it the smoke, Annapolis gets the farm for 2 minutes, and then you see games like this where you never get to see a smoke. Annapolis hides behind an island. It's like, what was the point?
Right. Right. It
Yeah,
feels
the smoke for the
very.
gearing is really helpful for that too because it lasts so long and it can be so wide.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
If you position over at the G2 island, Des Moines, he would have never pushed in because he would die in the process.
Yep.
Petro, he would have backed off because you don't want to get farmed by an Annapolis. All you have to worry about is the Yamagiri torps.
I agree. I think that initially the gearing going up Gulf 2, just on the west flank, smoking up the Annapolis and then going A would have been the smarter play.
Yeah, that would have been. It definitely would have been. Like anything would have been better than rushing right into the cap. I think, to be honest. So you can tell we're doing damage control now. Like everybody was told, hey, we're not getting that cap. And also simultaneously the east flank was told like, yep, it's time, let's go. We gotta.
Well, at this point, you guys know how to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ships at A, 1, 2 at B.
Yeah.
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ships on your flank. Yeah, come on. Let's go.
We also have spotting advantage because it's the Kleber versus the Shimakaze on the east flank. So we know we're going to be able to spot them out if it comes to it. There is radar, though, with the Moskva, of course.
Another mistake I'm seeing here, the Petro should have been going down the 7 line. So commonly...
Yes.
Up the channel.
I would agree.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of teams will shove a sturdy cruiser up the 7 line or even a battleship, and that's to make sure the position on the 8 line is untenable. That Petro could have easily screwed over Moskva. He can dodge the Montana at 20 kilometers.
So what I've been telling people is that if we do send a destroyer up on the east flank, it has to have a cruiser with it, preferably something with radar and a little higher DPM. But yeah, I mean, especially since we knew where the Moskva was, it would have been really good to have somebody pushing from behind and somebody pushing from the front, cruiser-wise.
Okay.
Yeah, sending a Shimakaze down the strait, on the other hand, really bad idea.
So I want to comment on something else real quick. Enjoy the banter in chat, says Sea Donkey. Your Annapolis player right here, I think he should be heading due south. I don't like the thought that he's heading towards sea cap right now, because what a kiting ship needs to do is they need to open up kiting angles, and going in the same direction overall as the Puerto Rico, it basically gives the entire backfield available for your opponent.
You're gonna see, you're gonna see some of that. And I was actually telling them both, like, get away from sea.
Yeah. Now,
like, go further south. I was telling them that because I didn't want them. I knew we needed to spread out to keep crossfire from them coming over from A. And we needed to, like, not be so bunched up. And also Puerto Rico right now, I was telling, like, stop going broad. You're broad to the to Obi in the Montana. Don't do that.
Social distancing.
For some odd reason, he turned northward and broadside.
I know. I was scared.
Yeah, if your Annapolis goes deep south, like J line, border the map, and goes dark, what he does is he has a J1, and he goes up behind them and rolls up their backside.
You're gonna want to watch the Moskva up north. Sorry to interrupt.
That's fine. If he's not dark, then what he's able to do is he's effectively able to drag people with him, which is also a valid strategy considering you're down one ship. If he drags 2 ships or more with him, then that evens out the playing field for the rest of your team. So, I don't like your Annapolis kiting in the same direction as your Puerto Rico. Now,
yeah, it would have been nice to draw people because we knew they had to come east, right? So, with that in mind, it would have been nice to kind of stagger that a little bit.
Right.
Rather than just leading them towards east where they're already going.
All right, so you said to look at this other side here as your Petropavlovsk and Des Moines push around the corner on the Moskva. Shimakaze is being radared. You are being radared as well.
Yep.
I'm curious what you're trying to do right now in the Shikishima. Looks like you beached.
I beached on purpose to try to back up quicker. But I'm basically, at the moment, I think I was harassing the Montana. I wanted to make the Montana easy prey, and he seems like he was leading the forefront of the push, so I wanted to just bring him as low as possible, and I told the Puerto Rico and the Annapolis to try to stay on him.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'll just let you watch.
Your Petropavlovsk is going to take a ram and die while he's full health. That feels really bad.
Yeah, I was.
What's going on?
I would not have taken that ram. I know. I don't know what exactly happened there, but I know they, like, last second they were like, "Oh, take the ram," and I was thinking, like, we're down one ship, we cannot take the ram. Like,
no,
don't take the ram. But
of course not.
They took the ram, and at this point I was like, "Oh shit."
I mean,
well, we're at 2 caps now, right? So that's good.
And this is where ramming flag might have actually saved that Petropavlovsk. I don't know if he had it or not, but
wouldn't have saved him if the Moscow was running it as well.
The big thing is, I agree.
The cruiser should have spread out there on that push.
I agree with Patton.
Went wider, yeah.
Yeah, going wider.
Let's take a look at... It's kind of similar situation to what we had in the earlier battle. Like, these 2 cruisers were so far together, I don't even think they had a chance to avoid the ram.
No.
I'm honestly surprised that Moskva took so long for going forward. Like, the Moskva could have gotten that ram off like a minute sooner.
So at this point, I know I don't have shots in the Montana anymore, and I don't want to back up to give him, like, my rear. So I told the cruisers, like, just finish him. Farm him out. I'll start working on the Des Moines. I know where the Yamagiri is now because I see all these incoming torps. I just happened to be at a good angle. I knew he was out there, I just didn't know exactly where.
Very convenient, yeah.
Yep. Des Moines coming back in, at least he can finish off Montana. That's fine.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Shimakaze going towards Moskva, though, that's not advisable at the very least.
Yeah, I don't know why we started to push out that far. He should have stayed, like, center... Well, really protect B, because we can't give up B at this point.
Right, I agree.
Yeah. When you're in clan battles, you need to drill it into your teammates. Take 2 caps and hold. You don't need Shimakaze to go run up to a Moskva and give up for free. He should be working with Des Moines, keep the Kleber and the Moskva out, because Kleber is looking back to jump in.
Absolutely.
Now, here,
and I wasn't calling this battle, but yeah, I concur.
I probably would have stayed on the the Des Moines here. I don't think there's a need to shoot the Petro.
I think you're right. I started shooting at the Petro and I was like, I should probably stick to that Des Moines because I know I'm going to be able to get more damage on him, most likely. Yeah. And frankly, the Petro's already being taken care of, right? So
no, I would focus on the Petro. Everyone needs to pick one target. He needs to die. And in that case, that would have been Petro.
Why the Petro over the Des Moines?
Get him out faster.
Yeah, because time is of the essence this game, as you can tell. Yeah. Especially with the B-cap turning again.
And Des Moines not going anywhere anytime soon. You can finish him off later.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. He's pretty much open water for them at this point as well. So
I think the call here is to like whatever more people in your team can shoot, that's the cruiser you focus down.
Right. Focus fire is absolutely important. You should heal, by the way. I know it's not max heal, but you need to get the heal available for later.
yeah, I might as well, especially with you know, there's not a lot of time left either, right? So if I heal
No.
now, it's probably the last heal I'll get, frankly.
Or you might have one more, but that might be the pivotal moment. So,
Yeah, yeah.
all right. Well, you healed now. Got 6 minutes 51 seconds on the timer. They are in the lead at this point.
There is
Yep.
such thing as a max heal path.
Now you're in the lead.
Yep. Just
Yep,
barely.
just barely. And at that point, everyone should just stay dark, but your Annapolis is going to fight the Des Moines here, so just blow them up.
Yeah, at this point I told them I think it was like around 30 seconds left. I was like, 30 seconds, stay alive, we win.
Yeah.
30
Well,
seconds,
Annapolis
something
is
like
doing good, or sorry, Des Moines is doing a good job of dying, so that can help you. There it is.
He needs to make a play.
Okay.
And that's it.
That is that.
So we came back from the one destroyer loss, which I was happy with. Because I was pretty skeptical from the early loss there, if we could turn it around.
Yep. Yeah, you did a very good job in recovering the loss. The push from A to B also was not the best.
No.
What they could have done was also just kind of rotated ships back, because
That's-
it's a lot easier.
Yeah, so
I
I
mi-
thought it would have been better if they rotated up north to B.
I missed the
Mhm.
start of the game. I was doing something else. It felt like, why were they bringing a Yamagiri?
Oh, we talked
Yamagiri-
about that, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it, and it's just more of a what's available / comfort pick. Yamagiri is definitely not a ship you want to sacrifice a super ship for.
Here's the thing, though. A unique upgrade Shime is better.
For Torps, it is,
Yes.
isn't it? Because it's got lower cooldown.
Yes.
Yes.
You're not taking it for Torps, though, and Yamagiri does have some merit in being able to burst fire whatever destroyer spots it.
That is still rather mediocre burst fire, though.
It's still useful enough for dealing with other low concealed destroyers. If you run into the enemy gearing, for example, you can take out half his health and smoke away. But anyway,
Okay,
it's not
and
worth taking it.
What if the enemy destroyer is not a gearing, but something that is, I don't
Then
know.
you play standard Shimakaze, throw Torps out. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying there are a few times where you can get some use out of it. It's not inferior to Shimakaze in that regard.
It's definitely not good enough to justify the super ship slot, though.
I was not trying to. I've already mentioned 3 times you don't take it.
So, obviously, early game, the use of smoke with your super ship would have been different. We talked about the kiting away with the Annapolis and the Puerto Rico. Honestly, your Annapolis, I've been looking at this. He keeps banging away with his guns. I might tell the Annapolis go silent, get to the border, cut behind the enemy, and then just cause havoc. He didn't do that.
No, I think he didn't do that because, I mean, we saw them all crossing over open water kind of in like a conga line. So it was called to like, okay, bring this ship down, bring this ship down, bring this ship down, because we saw them coming over like one at a time. They weren't really spread out. They were, one in front of the other, in front of the other. So it was kind of easy to just pick the target in front, farm it out. Then pick the target behind that, farm it out.
So looking at the...
Sorry.
Go on.
I was just saying, I was also looking at the render. The fact that you Puerto Rico got away there and they weren't able to focus it down is basically what won you that game.
Yep.
I know. I was amazed that he actually, especially with going broadside when he did, as soon as he went broadside, I was thinking like, there goes that ship, you know.
Yeah.
But he
Because if
didn't.
he
He
dies, the
lived.
point situation is completely different. Like the Des Moines in the end doesn't need to die, and they probably point out before you do.
Mm-hmm. You think you could have rotated the Kleber to protect you, the Moskva, against the backdoor from the Shimakaze? Maybe?
Should have been helping you torp the cruisers that were
No.
pushing Ishab. Or something like that.
Yeah, I would have had the Kleber stay on the cruisers. There's not much you can do against the Shimakaze that's coming back there.
Mhm. Honestly,
Like, he should have been in position to just kind of constantly throw torps and also maybe AP the Des Moines broadside. That's about the best you can hope for.
so, I mean, if you know the Shima's on your butt, it just forces you forward. And that's the problem with the position that you're set in the Moskva is you're dependent on your team keeping the 6-7 line clear of enemies. As soon as an
Kill the
enemy
sh-
gets up there, you're kind of screwed.
Killed the Shimi with what? Just your guns? Kleber doesn't have enough burst to actually take a Shimi 1v1.
No. No. So at that point, it would absolutely be about positioning with these cruisers. Now, your Kleber was unable really to do much work on the cruisers, even though you were in your position. So that's honestly, that's on the Kleber. He should have probably been in Delta 10 to get those broadsides on the cruisers. Instead, he was way far to the north and way far away. AP doesn't really matter at that point.
I'm also pretty sure when we were watching the actual replay that while the Shimmy was coming up there behind the Moskva, it actually got spotted. You'd had a chance with the Kleber to reset that capping Shimmy.
Yes,
That
but
too,
the
yeah.
Kleber was too busy looking at the cruisers, right?
Yeah, Kleber, I think, was better off dealing with the cruisers. Like, you would have to literally be stream sniping if you want to pick off the Shima.
I completely agree with SAT
Why?
there. Delta 10
Because
is where I'd be.
he went through it straight, and I don't think you detected him doing that. So, like, you would have to have a lot of foresight or a very early radar just to even pick that up.
I'm pretty sure. Like, let's watch the render again. I'm pretty sure the Shimmy was spotted while capping.
Project
While
Planet,
capping?
thank you very
Yeah,
much for the
but-
raid, guys. Welcome aboard. Glory Fire says I lead the charge.
Planet traded my stream
I
with
thought you
I'm
had
talking
to work
about
today,
early
Glory.
on. Like,
No, not early on. I mean when the brush on the Moskva happened.
yeah, then it's too late. Kleber's not in position.
Hey, how was Asteroid Impact? Was that a lot of fun, guys? Is that something that I'm gonna enjoy it? You're in an ad though. What?
Oh
Why?
yeah, an ad just started.
Oh, damn it.
30 seconds left.
Disaster.
It is. This always happens when people raid me.
Oh no.
Well, yeah. So we love to introduce new people by showing them 3-minute ads.
Great.
Yes. Ah, goodness. So, what are we talking about here? We're looking at this Shimakaze.
Yeah, we were debating on if you can actually pick off Shimakaze. I'm arguing no, unless you specifically put the Kleber in position to do so.
Okay.
But if that were to happen, you would have to do a super early radar to know what Shima was doing.
All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for the raid very much, guys. We are looking at replay analysis of a World of Warships battle. This is a clan battle, so it's the most competitive it gets, and this is Wookie on Wookie violence. So this is one team versus another team from the exact same infrastructure. Puddin, thank you for the shout out on Project Planet. All right, so we're talking about I'm pausing it here because I think this is the key part you guys are talking about. Could the Kleber have killed the Shimakaze? Yes?
I will start with my argument, and I would say no, because Kleber was not in position to do so.
No.
I was
too far away.
I was not speaking about killing. I was just saying resetting.
Resetting, definitely yes.
I would say
But I don't know
this.
if that would have been worth it.
At this point in the game, a reset probably doesn't matter. Your Mosfet's gonna die. The biggest question is the Mosfet gonna die taking 1 cruiser or 2 with him? And the rest of the board, Puerto Rico's probably gonna die. Honestly, Nifty, I feel like you are the healthiest piece on the board, and you're also beached, and nobody can shoot at you, so that's feels
Yeah.
odd.
So I should have been backing up. Like, I realized a little too late, right? That I should have been backing up to the, what is it, like the G6 island there on the edge, and I should have been angled like that to shoot, and that would have opened me up more. I could have started taking shots and using all my guns.
It also
and I could have afforded it too.
It also would have taken some heat off your Puerto Rico and Annapolis, who are both desperately trying to not die. So that could have saved the Puerto Rico. But
the Puerto Rico did survive.
Did he?
So initially,
they both survived. Yeah, none of them died.
I thought Puerto Rico
wanted
died.
that spot to keep angles on the Montana because it looked like initially the Montana was going to like head to the north. So I was thinking if I stay here, I'll get broadside.
Pause again. Right here is the resets. I mean,
yeah, but he would have pushed into like Des Moines radar though for it. I don't know.
He was shooting anyway.
Tough. It's true.
He has the range here.
But
he has the
Shima
range
wasn't
here,
spotted.
right?
Shima wasn't.
It was. The Moscow was radaring it.
Oh, was it there? Okay.
The Shima was spotted the whole time while it was capping.
I mean, the recess would have delayed the cap, but I don't think it would have had an impact in this particular battle.
I mean, considering how close it was in the end point-wise.
Well, let's continue. Let's see how close was it. Bear was driven off the map.
I do really like how we spread out on the 7 line and they kind of bunched up for us on like the GF here. So we had really good crossfire, I think, especially in the end.
Yeah, they misplayed their push there.
So now we're talking about a difference of 9 points. Okay, so 9 points. That's the reset on the Shimakaze. Fair. Hey, Cosmos.
But yeah, there's a decent amount. Well, there's a lot of areas where it could have been improved. For example, that Shimakaze that took B, he kind of suicided afterwards.
Right.
And also the big Wookiee push from A to C, I think could have been handled better. Like they should have been able to eliminate Puerto Rico. And and maybe it was been better just to go back and reinforce B.
That's what I was thinking the whole time, is that they're coming towards me and a Shikishima and 2 cruisers kiting away who are farming. They could have just went B, right? They've got the Kleber there already as well.
Looked like there was some split fire between the Puerto Rico and Annapolis, and that's on the enemy team. They didn't.
Annapolis is also a ship you don't want to push into, and their battleship is not equipped to take him out. If it was a battleship that overmatched him, I think it would have been okay. But Montana, no. Just take your loss, take B, and make them come to you again.
Right.
Yeah, but this was a good one. It was really close. I know for certain there were definitely mistakes on both sides. But at the end, like, everybody was like super hyped that, you know, we were somehow able to turn it around, and it was such a close game. Such a close game.
So
very
what
back
are we
and
gonna
forth in the end?
What Nifty, everybody else, what are we gonna title this replay?
That's a good question.
I need to pee.
May the best Wook win.
Oh my life. May the best Wook win?
That's not bad.
You said that Gearing was your shot caller, right?
Yes. Yeah, this time, yeah.
I recommend he take a different ship when he's playing when he's shot calling.
So funny thing about that is I was playing Destroyer before, but I was doing bad all night, and I was like, guys, I need to change this up because I'm not on my Destroyer game at the moment. So
Okay.
he was shot calling, and he switched off of Cruiser to free up that spot for the current Battleship player, and then I switched to Battleship, but he wanted to keep calling. So
Okay.
The problem with the Destroyer shot calling is like render distance and not being really able to see what's going on the other flank.
That's the
That's
hard
not
part.
a problem anymore.
Oh right, they changed it. That was a problem for me when I did it like 5 years ago.
Okay.
The problem I see is because you're too focused on trying to do spotting. It's
yeah,
a very
yeah.
You're not shooting your guns, but it's very taxing just trying to keep your distance proper.
Right.
And if something goes wrong, it'll go wrong super quickly. So
Okay.
you can't multitask very easily. That's why
Yeah.
I don't recommend shot calling in a destroyer.
No worry,
I've done
Glory.
it before, but it definitely, like, there's a lot going on with Destroyer play that you need to be focused on. So
Yep.
the more focus that you dedicate to actually controlling your Destroyer, the less focus you're going to have to dedicate on strategy and shot calling and stuff like that. And I feel like that's what makes it harder.
Yeah, and and if he was shot calling, that might have played into the role of how he got torped today.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
It's possible.
Well, either way, Nifty, I appreciate you sending this replay in. This was a really good replay to look at. Certainly some things to learn from both sides. So that was awesome.
I'm glad you liked it. Thank you for covering it.
Yeah, thanks. Guys, we're going to go ahead